For most people, either it is too hot or too cold where they stay. Temperature regulation in people with disabilities, especially if they are not locomotor friendly, this heat and cold is a major issue. And also for a lot of people with autoimmune disorders, heat and cold is a major mismatch and an issue.
You got diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2018. How did that change your life?
It was a relief. I had a disease people knew about. When I say complex regional pain syndrome, people are like, it is all in your mind. You know, if you get up and do something with your sorry ass, you'll be fine. And why are you demanding air conditioners everywhere or fans? Even though I'm an ecologist, I can't deal with temperatures which are more than 30. I tend to faint. So at that time, it was only thought autonomic dysfunction, but then I fell and broke both my legs forward. And that's when they did the DAT scan in 2018 or 19, now I can't remember. And they said Parkinson's. So actually, when we got the PET scan result and we were going to see my neurologist, my mom and I celebrated in the car. Now we can tell people that there's a disease, yeah, Parkinson's, sabko pata hai.
Hello and welcome to the India Autism Center podcast. We are at the International Purple Fest Goa 2025 as their official podcast partners. I have with me today one of the Purple ambassadors, Dr. Meenakshi Venkatraman. She is a Purple ambassador from the Parkinsons category. Thank you so much, Dr. Meenakshi, for joining us.
Thank you, Nipun, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Dr. Meenakshi, you were not born with a disability. A disability happened to you later in life, and you actually have multiple disabilities, from what I understand, apart from Parkinson's as well. Could you walk us through what happened?
I had an accident where I was a pedestrian hit by a car in 97. I was 25 years old at that time, just starting my PhD. So at that time, it was diagnosed as central pain syndrome. And basically, with the help of my neurologist, adjusting and a team of psychologists and psychiatrists helping me with it, because I was adamant to finish my PhD in ecology, I went ahead, but I couldn't do field ecology at that time because already I had a right side problem where I couldn't feel my legs properly and my hands were not working. So I had to use a cane. So they said, you can't do field work, nor can you drive at that time. So I moved to a mathematical ecology, this thing. And by the way, what I did as a work for that and work I got as a faculty in University of Florida after that, it was a disease model. I was looking at models where you have either a disease and a host. And I was doing mathematical models for that. I forgot about that paper. But when COVID hit, they used my model. There are 78 citations for my paper, which they used because most of the disease models, how diseases spread across the world, is only done in continuous time. But mine was with discrete time intervals. So that's one of the things I'm very proud of. At that point, I didn't know this was going to be my state. I came back to India in 2014, got married, and we lived in Bangalore. And I was attached to, in Hosur, which is near Bangalore, I was attached to a NGO which worked with farmers. So we created how to substitute pesticides with organic this thing, and work with small farmers who didn't have land or leased land. And we bought our team, which was under the T.S. Srinivasan Center for Rural Technology. Our team was a horticulturist, me and an outreach person. We used to go village to village, find out these people who had leased, get vegetables grown organically, and we used to do farm to fork in 2006. But 2008, there was a reduction in gait. I was falling and everything like that. I had to leave that thing. So I have a problem that curiosity gets better of me. I realized there was no field guide to insects in India. So in 2010, with the help of the late wildlife photographer T.N.A. Perumal, we came out with the first book on Indian insects, not just butterflies. Everyone goes after butterflies, but all insects. So it was received very well. I sold 4,000 copies within two years. And after that, I was like, it was too hot in Bangalore for me. But by then, we didn't know. It was autonomic dysregulation at that time. I couldn't deal with the temperature, so I moved to the Nilgiris. In the Nilgiris, I've been doing citizen science and I joined Rotary Club. Rotary clubs, people think, is only a social organization and maybe works in polio, but they had a section in environment, which I found out. So soon I got into it, and now for the past 10 years, I've been running the environment this thing for Rotary Worldwide. I'm a part of an organization in Rotary called as SRAG, which is Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. So what I do is I work on projects which are human wildlife this thing. So in the Nilgiris, we have been looking at elephants. Well, in Valpare in South India, elephants where this thing. So we help fund some of those things. What my main job is in Rotary is I connect people and get collaborations and get funding. Okay. So we've done this project, and in Sundarbans, I've got a mangrove project. Believe it or not, 4 months back, I walked 5.5 kilometers on a bund which is this narrow to see that the project is done well, and what is there in the.
So you could walk till very recently.
With a cane, is what I'm trying to say. And in 2 months, you know things about neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's. The slide is very fast.
Generally, people with disabilities actually aspire to go to a country like USA because it is so much more inclusive towards PWDs, right? It's more accessible.
It is, but
you did the reverse, that you actually came back to India. Why did you decide to take that up?
Because I couldn't continue with teaching research academia, and the heat in Florida was hell. It was really bothering me and I couldn't do my job. Then I decided, for me, decisions just, once I decide on something, I will do it and jump onto what I can do next.
But was India an attitudinal shocker when you came back? Like, were people in America more open towards disability than India?
Obviously, and everything, including my family. My mother didn't want me to attend any functions with a cane. Okay, so I was the hidden figure in the house.
Because of the stigma associated with disability?
My mother was a young woman, not married, and this thing. So the stigma attached to it was there.
And you think it's way better in the US that way?
No. In the US too.
There
is when you are with a cane, they'll be nice to you, but at the same time, you can't do a lot of things. I'm talking about 2004, not now.
Yeah.
So it's a huge difference.
The US also might have changed a lot since then.
Exactly. And I was in small towns. I was not in the major cities,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So even with the cane, a lot of buses and everything were very difficult,
And ecology has been a major focus for you throughout your work.
Exactly.
And what are the specific challenges persons with disabilities face with climate change?
For most people, either it is too hot or too cold where they stay. Temperature regulation in people with disabilities, especially if they are not locomotor friendly, this heat and cold is a major issue. And also for a lot of people with autoimmune disorders, heat and cold is a major mismatch and an issue. So that is one of the things. And with climate change, what we are seeing is increasingly the ocean currents are going sluggish and sluggish. So you have the La Nina and this thing. So areas which were colder before have become warmer. And we are having insane amount of cyclones. If you see around India, the hurricanes have gotten stronger. So all these are part of climate change. And people with, I come from a fairly affluent family. I can do all these things. But people in a lower economic or social this thing, it is going to be very tough, especially with a neurodegenerative disease.
And yet, it's not often spoken about, the intersection of disability and ecology.
It isn't, because there are very few people of us who are into talking about it. And a lot of people do not understand climate change. They keep saying, every 5 years this will happen, then it goes, And they don't realize right now already what the 2050, this thing of 1.5 degrees we have already crossed it in the past 4 years. And this is going to get worse. And another thing with a lot of these autoimmune disorders and autonomic disorders and neurodegenerative disorders, the thing that is numbers are going to increase with age span. May I take the example of Parkinson's?
Sure.
So,
but we will come to Parkinson's specifically as later.
Okay. Any of the indicators is like we are getting a lot of younger people especially in the prime. I'm not talking about birth. I'm talking about people in their prime, in their 20s and this thing, when they're trying to set up their families and this thing, they are getting afflicted. And job market, unless they hide their disability, they are not going to get the jobs. Because especially in invisible diseases, getting a card for a disability is impossible. So you can't use that either. So you have to work in those situations and push yourself through.
But there are two critiques of climate change. One, and I'm not talking about disability, but about climate change in general, because you're also a scholar on ecology. One is that a lot of politicians are deniers of climate change world over.
Because they're getting
And
money from
secondly,
the...
let me ask you both the questions together, then you can answer them. Secondly, there's also this debate around the fact that, should we sacrifice economic productivity for today for measures that will improve climate change tomorrow? Because in the long run, we are all dead, as John Maynard Keynes once said, right? So, what is your response to both these critiques of climate change?
Okay, for both these critics, the thing is like, it's easy to deny and wait. This is like the, what you call, ostrich in the sand situation in both critics. Because one is going and saying that they're both extremes. Let's take the middle path. The middle path is saying that let's do adaptation, start adaptation and raise money. And that's what this COP is going to be, mainly a finance COP. But it's going to fail since US has walked out of it. Most of the funding like USAID and everything was coming for climate change projects from US. All that has stopped. But we've got something called as the GEF, the Global Economic Forum, and GCF that are working especially for the smaller islands, which are really already facing this thing. There are islands in Tuvalu, near Samoa and the Fijian Islands. People are moving out because the sea rise change has come 2, 3, 4 feet already. So adaptation is what we're talking about. Mitigation is a huge issue because the petroleum industry is involved. So as a Rotary, this thing, whatever we can do is collaborations we are doing. And our largest project right now in India that we are doing is for $2 million, is getting water by making check dams and training farmers to be more adaptive. And we work with the WWF. For water, we work with the Government of India, with the Water Board and everything. And around the world with different organizations we work with. So our idea is like what we can do. Start with self, what you can do, and that's awareness spreading. And when it comes to disability, you will be surprised at the number of people who, being disabled themselves, don't feel that they're like, this is only a small matter. Yes, I need a fan, this thing. So putting yourself first as a person with disability has to come first. Little bit of narcissism is required with the people with disability. Please don't hide yourselves because there is information out there that can help you.
You got diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2018. How did that change your life?
It was a relief. I had a disease people knew about. When I say complex regional pain syndrome, people are like, it is all in your mind. If you get up and do something with your sorry ass, you'll be fine. And why are you demanding air conditioners everywhere or fans? Even though I'm an ecologist, I can't deal with temperatures which are more than 30. I tend to faint. So at that time, it was only thought autonomic dysfunction, but then I fell and broke both my legs forward. And that's when they did the DAT scan in 2018 or 19, now I can't remember. And they said Parkinson's. So actually, when we got the PET scan result and we were going to see my neurologist, my mom and I celebrated in the car. Now we can tell people that there's a disease, Parkinson's, sabko pata hai. So then we went to the neurologist and he was also like, now we can talk about this more.
But there is still a lot of social stigma around Parkinson's. I know a lot of people who have Parkinson's, but when I tell them that, you're now recognized under the Disabilities Act,
it is.
They don't like it. Why do you think that
it is recognized in the Disabilities Act?
I know, but when I tell them that, they don't like it. They don't like to be identified as people with disabilities.
Whether people older or younger?
I'm talking much older people.
Yeah, because at that point, there are a lot of comorbidities that come with it. And for a lot of people, the tremor, not being able to do something, someone helping. See, when you get older and suddenly you become disabled, you want your independence, at the same time, you want someone to help you. It is a 0 or 1 situation. And in diseases like Parkinson's, we become apathetic very quickly. So when we become apathetic, it becomes very difficult for the caregiver. So it's very important that the caregivers are in a separate group getting themselves and venting or getting help, and the patients in a this thing. So right now, in a lot of Parkinson's group, we are all grouped together. So we dare not say anything about our caregivers. And the caregivers are quite vocal about the patients. And for a lot of patients, remember they're in the 70s and 80s. They don't maybe WhatsApp and mobile calls. They're not active on social media. So they don't even want to come to a social media hangout or anything of that sort.
What are the first symptoms a person normally faces with Parkinson's?
If it is a regular Parkinson's, the first symptoms is they will start seeing that they're having balance issues. There may be tremors in their hands and legs, and the tightening of muscles will be there. And tiredness, fatigue will hit. So usually the tremors are the things that people look out for. Okay. And so for the Parkinson's patient, going to a regular doctor, and if they find these things, they'll move them to a neurologist. So they are being taken care of. The caregiver doesn't understand what is going to happen with that disease. So that is the problem. So what approach I would like to take in India at least, we've got 2 WhatsApp groups which are run by Parkinson's neurologists who are dealing with both caregivers and patients in the same group. Okay.
And how can one join these WhatsApp groups?
That is the other thing I'm coming to. There is an organization called as PDM, Parkinson's Disease and Movement Disorder, this thing organization, a social organization, who have created groups in the metro cities. They have not reached the rural area. So this thing right now focus is first getting them on Facebook and then moving them into WhatsApp, this thing, as separately and patients separately. Here today you have on stall 14 or 15, you have these Parkinson's advocates from Pune who help with the caregivers.
What would be your piece of advice for somebody who gets diagnosed with Parkinson's?
Don't get scared. There's a lot of information out there. Don't get scared. Each of us are unique unicorns. Each of us will have different symptoms. Please do exercise, exercise, exercise. Mind, body, and spirit. Don't give up. Never become a bed rot. Do not, even if you're feeling sorry for yourself, get off the damn bed. Get outside. You need the vitamin D. Meet people. It will give you energy. Do not bother how your face, hand looks, whatever. Don't give a damn. Become a narcissist. But please be nice to the people taking care of you.
Beautifully said. And any advice to caregivers of people who get Parkinson's?
Please join a caregiver group. There are caregiver groups which are in all languages in India available. And they have also people who will help you with getting psychological help. And it's better to be on a group with others. WhatsApp is always available. Facebook is available. Facebook has more groups there. And please do that.
I've taken a lot of time, so I'm going to ask you one last question. What do you think, and I've been asking this question to everybody who's joined this podcast, what do you think can the common citizen of India do to make India an equal opportunity country for people with disabilities?
One is like, don't judge us. 2, please ask us if you're stuck somewhere, please ask us talk to us. We are not different. We are also real people. We also get angry, and don't call us Divyang and think we are stars in heaven or something like that. We also have all common anger, ego, everything we have. We can show you the full Navarasas to you. We are also regular people.
Thank you so much, Dr. Meenakshi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Nipun.